This is Eric from labofcoding.com. In the last video, I introduced the Django Forms API and we created a to-do form, which we later on converted to a model form. In this video, we're going to pick up from that and we are going to create the endpoint to allow users to create new to-dos in our application. So as I mentioned in the last video, any request that will change the state of your database, for example, creating a new to-do, should make sure that it uses the post method. So we'll use the post method to allow users to create new to-dos in our application. So let's go to the views.py file and let's create this new view. So let's call it to do create, and it will accept the request object as the first argument. And in this view, we are not passing any extra arguments, so the request alone will be enough. So in working with forms, allowing users to submit data in forms, there's a common pattern that is used not only in Django but in other frameworks and languages. It's known as the post redirect pattern, post redirect get pattern. So what happens, when a user sends a request, when a request comes in from the user, first of all, we will check the method. If it's a get method, we will display the page with an empty form. But if it comes with a post method, we will get the data. Usually the data that, when someone submits data in a form using the post method, the data is encoded in a post object, which you can access in Django using the request.post object. And so if we get that data, we pass it to our view or to our form class, and then we use the form.isValid method to check if it's valid. If it's valid, we then proceed to use that data to create a new to do or something else if there is something else that we want to do. But if it's not valid, we will return the form with the errors, and we'll display the errors to the user, showing them that there are some errors in the data that they have submitted. And then it's advisable that after a successful post request, you should return a redirect. A redirect in this case is just a simple string. The server returns a simple string which instructs the browser or the client to move to another page or to redirect to another page. This is important because if you leave the user on the same page after a post request, and if they refresh the page, the post data may be submitted again, which is in most cases is not what you want. So to prevent that duplication, after a successful post request, it's advisable to return a redirect and redirect the browser to another page, and the browser will send a get request on the other page. So we will just do this in our view. So if a request comes in and it's a get request, we will return the Django template with an empty form. And if it's a post request, you will get the post data, validate it using the form.isValid method, and then use it to create a new to do in the database. So let's get in. First thing, let's create our template in templates main, and let's just call this to do. Sorry, a typo there. Let's rename this. It's supposed to be to do. And as we did in the other templates, let's extend from main base.html, and let's override the block, the title block, to add a new title. So let's say create a new to do, and let's call the super to get the variable declared in the super template. And then let's override the main content block. Main content. So it's within the main content block where we will have our form displayed. So let's go to our views.py file. So first of all, we will check if the request is a post. So we'll do a check if request.post, the request method has a method attribute which you can use to check the type of method that the request has of the request sent. So we say if request.post, we will get the form class. So let's import our form. Let's say from forms import to do form. So if the method is a post method, we will get the post data, and the post object is like a dictionary in Python, and so we will just pass it to our form class. So let's just say form is equal to do form, and then let's pass the request.post object. So the request.post object contains the data in the form which has been encoded in the post object. So after you pass that data, let's do a check if the data that has been submitted is valid. So if that data has been the data submitted is valid, we'll do a form.save. Because this is a model form, we can save directly to the database. And then so this means that this post has been successful, so we need to redirect the user. If we want to redirect them, it means when they refresh the page, that data will be resubmitted again and we will save the to-do again, which is not what we want. So Django has a shortcut known as redirect in the shortcuts module. So we will return redirect, and then the redirect function takes the name of the view that you want to redirect to. In this case, you want to redirect, let's redirect to the index page. So we will say redirect, and then the name of the view that you want to redirect to, in this case index. So what happens if the form is not valid? We will return render, we'll return the template and pass the form to the template. So we'll say we return render, so that would be the request object as the first argument, and then the name of the template. In this case, we've called ours todo.html, and then we will pass the form object in the context as form. Remember, at this point the form is not valid and it has the form.errors attribute populated. So if the request is not a post method, is a get method, we will just return the template with the empty form. So in this case, we will just initialize an empty form. So that is what we will return to the client. So we can register this one quickly in our urls.py file. So let's do that. We can drop this one. Let's import our view. Our view is to do create. So let's have it here, to do create, and the name will also be to do create. So initially, when a request comes in, we will when the request is a get request, we'll display the empty form. We've passed the form in the template context, so we can render it here in the main block. So first of all, we will have to get the form tags. So the action in this case should point to the page or the view which you want to handle that request. This request will be handled by the to do create view. So we can say URL to do create. So the action points to the view or URL in this case, which will handle that form submission. In this case, it is handled by our to-do create view. That's why you've passed it as the action, and we leave the method as post. So we have the form.asp method, which we can use to render the form. In Django templates, I think you may have noticed now, if you call a method, you don't pass the brackets, you just give the name of the method, in this case form.asp. So this will render our form, but we also need to add a button. So because this is submitting data, let's change the type to submit. Let's just say save, and let's add a button class. So let's say button primary will do. So I think our form is now complete, but there is one small thing. It's a security feature which comes in Django is to prevent cross-site request forgeries. So Django has a tag for that, which if you put it in your form and someone tries to make a cross-site request forgery on your site, Django will flag them off. So let's have that tag. It's called cross-site request forgery token. So we can have that one. So I think now our view is complete, and we can go to the browser and try to save a new to-do. So the path is just to do, and the view is to do create. So let's go to the browser. So that will be localhost 8.8000 to do. Awesome. So we have our form displayed properly. So we can pass. We can try to create a new to do. So let's just give a string like let's pass the description, find the best producer in the world, something like that. Let's just pass a date, and it should be a valid date string. So up to this point, the date is still a string, but the Django Forms API will convert it to a Python date type object, and if it finds that it's not a valid date string, it will complain. So let's save that. So after saving, if the form is valid, we will pass the request.post object, which is a dictionary object containing the data that has been submitted in the form. And if the form is valid, we will save it. That is creating the new to do in the database, and then we will redirect the user to the index page. Otherwise, we will display, we will return the template with the form. In this case, the form will be having errors. So we can have a check in the form to do to display the errors if they are there. So we'll say if form.errors, we'll just print the errors for now. So let's just say form.errors. We'll see how to display this later on. So let's go to a browser and let's try to create this new to do. Awesome. It means the data was valid and we have been redirected to the index page, and as you can see, we have the new record created. So let's go to the to do create view again and try to pass an invalid date. Let's pass something like that. Let's just pass a random string there. Let's try to save that one. Yeah, so we are told due date, it has an error, and we are told enter a valid date. So this is the error that has been raised by the Django Forms API. So that's it for now. As you can see, the pattern is very simple. You check that if the request is a post method, we intersect the form with the request.post object. We check if it's valid. If it's valid, we save it and redirect. Otherwise, we just return the template with the form, and then we display the form in the form errors in the template. Because of the return statement here, I think the else statement is redundant. We can drop that and move this one. Even this one, we can drop it, and I think all will still be fine. So let's create a new to-do, another to-do. Let's say that is 14th. Yes, I make the best song in the world. Let's save that one. Let's check. Yeah, we have our new to do created, make the best song in the world. So that's it for now. We'll pick it from this in the next video. Thanks for watching.